Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and I'm Sahith Reddy here. Today we are having Mr. Daniel with us today, and he works for an R&D organization in Europe in space industry. So how are you, Mr. Daniel?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
That's great. Thank you very much for taking your time. Would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So I'm Daniel Sors. I'm an aerospace engineer. I graduated from the Technical University of Madrid a few years ago. After that, I worked at the European Space Agency in the Netherlands, at ESTEC, for a couple of years, and then I moved to UK to work in a startup environment in a company, and I've been there for a bit more than 2 years now, building small satellites.
Oh, that's really great. So as per your experience, why the world is moving towards space, and as you can see, there's a rapid growth of space industry throughout the world, not in one country, but in every country basically. What would be the reason as per your experience?
Right, so I think that there are a whole set of components for this increase of space activities in general.
Yeah.
I would like to highlight especially the ones from the sector I'm mostly involved with, which is the small satellite industry.
Okay.
And actually you can see that there is a trend in which nowadays small satellites can do high impact sourcing or high impact activities, data gathering activities in space. So this is just a growing process in which technologies are being miniaturized, simplified, and there is no need to go for big infrastructure, big satellites, if you can do it with a smaller
That's
one.
really true, because as you know, there is very less investment involved as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in one side, well, you can say that there is less investment in some particular aspects, or the budget in some activities maybe is being reduced.
Okay.
But in others, especially when you look at constellations, when you look at connectivity data, Earth observation, and a whole set of new technologies such as the laser communication and all that, navigation and so on, there's been quite a growing set of companies appearing, and a growing set of resources invested in all those technologies.
So as you know that there is a huge amount of data which is producing every day into the industry, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, a lot of technology which are coming up. And what do you think the future of work looks like?
In general terms?
Yeah, in general terms.
Right. So obviously all these terms, AI, machine learning, once you apply those in space, or in this case small satellites, it allows you to crunch and filter and digest a lot of this data on board, and then downlink only the most important data sets. So I foresee less work on ground, maybe, because the information, the data, is going to be already pre-filtered. So I see a lot of programming, and a lot of fine-tuning, fine processing these data sets. They come straight after being pre-processed in space.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. And how do you see UAE as a key player as compared to Europe and United States? Because every country is now in space, and how do you compare the economies in the space industry, basically?
Right. Well, I had the opportunity to come here a couple of months ago or so in an event, and I got a bit of more insights, I would say, more information about how has been the development in the last years. I see a quick growth after all the astronaut program and all that, and all the Mars ambitions and all that. So maybe it's been quite active or proactive in these last recent years. Maybe it was more quiet here in this area, as far as I know. So we have all these big nations like the US and Russia and so on. They've been for years here. I think that UAE has been catching up very fast in a short period of time. I see a huge potential, and I think that there is interest here to do really ambitious things. I think there's a very exciting future ahead in this part of the world.
Yeah, that's really true. And there's a huge amount of skill polarization which is happening in any part of the world, because there is the technological advancement is very huge and it's very fast, and we are still using the traditional way of education in certain countries, basically. I'm talking about. So, what do you think? How can we tackle that issue?
Right. Yeah, education is indeed a key aspect, and if you think about that, in most of the countries we are still learning by memorizing things, and not that much with learning by doing. There are a whole set of tools that are now appearing, which are more hands-on. The more you practice, the more you touch, the more you get really involved with the key tools and methodologies, the more you learn, right? And experience is a key factor. So I always encourage students to get involved with hands-on experience through internships or by testing tools, software tools, hardware tools, with whatever field they are interested on. But really try to get to the companies, to research institutions, to the real world, and touch the real tools.
So if you compare between a degree and skill sets, what do you prefer? Like, for example, you're hiring a candidate and a person has a PhD degree in certain domain, and other guy, he just has a bachelor's degree, but he's having a good amount of experience with skill sets. What do you, whom do you pick up?
That's a tricky one. So it's normally, it's not black or white. I think it's a trade-off. And it really depends on the career that you are studying, if it's more theoretical or more practical one. If we touch base on the space industry, I think it's good to have a degree. It's good to have a bachelor, a master's, or a document that kind of qualifies you or certifies that you've been touching all the key concepts and the key theories and all the concepts behind the real technology. But then at the same time, I really encourage people to do internships and really touch base on the real technology that is driving the world.
So you encourage young generations to get hands-on experience?
Totally. Through labs at the university or through internships at companies or doing master thesis, bachelor thesis, whatever it is. But having what I call the student passport, to make use of the student passport, let's say, opens a lot of doors to really explore and get hands-on experience, and that's really valuable for yourself of tomorrow, right? Like as soon as you step in the real work environment and you start your career, it's good to have some kind of experience, regardless if it's a public sector or private sector or more R&D, whatever you've done, it's just adding up. Right?
That's true,
So I all the time encourage to touch as many fields, as many technologies, as many real experiences as possible.
So try to pick up everything and get experience. That's your advice to the future generations, right?
That would be my total takeaway. And the university environment, it's always good. There are a lot of international programs. Traveling abroad, it's always a good way to
network with the people as well.
To network and see how other people, how other countries, how other companies, how other public institutions do things. And compare them with the ones from your country or from your area, and see a bit the good things of the different ways of doing things. That's a very positive insight.
That's really true. And what do you think about future of data? Future of data. There is a huge amount of data producing in industries specifically, and they don't know what to do with it. So, like how the young generations can get into that and get into that field of data.
To be honest, I think that computer science, all these software skills, programming skills, and so on, are really blasting off.
Nowadays, for sure.
There is a high demand in the sector to filter, digest, and make all this data that we are gathering through IoT devices, through, if we go back to the space industry, through all these mesh and set of satellites that are being deployed. And all these skills are really required.
Nowadays, such as computer vision or AI, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. I think it's like a buzzword nowadays in current trend specifically, right?
Absolutely, and especially if you want to go one step ahead, which is optimizing processes. As soon as you have a lot of nodes or a mesh of satellite sensors, data sets, to go one step further and have these algorithms that they kind of learn by themselves, that they kind of reduce all the workload that it used to take hours and a lot of resources, and now it's this process is really getting up to speed and making things much easier and more simple.
Oh, that's true, really. So, what is that one untold voice you always wanted to communicate to the society as a whole for the benefits of future generations?
Right, that's a kind of a deep touching question, but I always think of first asking yourself what's your real passion, what you are good at, what you really enjoy doing, and then thinking if it has negative impacts or it might have potential negative impact to the society as a whole. And nowadays we have these SDGs, these Sustainable Development Goals, that they give you a key of the things that we should really start thinking of doing. So the United Nations has kind of been pointing out the key issues that we need to tackle or we need to start thinking of solving right now if we want to keep evolving in a sustainable way. And those can give you some good insight of, at the end of the day, the real impact of your activities as a professional, right? And it's good to think also on this eventually at some point as you keep moving on in your professional career.
Yeah, that's really true, Daniel, and that's it for today. And thank you very much, Daniel, for taking your time and being with us today. I really appreciate it. And that's it for today. And if you have any questions or any comments, please write in the comment section below. And if you like the video, like the channel and subscribe to it. And thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.